And first he tells them that there's more that needs to be said, more they need to know, more that he's ready to tell them about Jesus being a priest after the order of Melchizedek. He says, but it's hard to explain since they have become dull of hearing. So here's what he's not saying. He's not saying the information is difficult. He's not saying this is a hard lesson. He's not saying I really need you to bear down and concentrate because this is about to get complicated. He's confronting them with the fact that they have stopped listening. Every lesson is difficult if you're not listening. Every bit of information is difficult to take in if you've already decided that you know what you want to hear. You know the way that things are supposed to be. And so what the author is doing is he's confronting their heart, because something has hardened in them that is keeping them now from listening. What does it mean to be dull of hearing? Let's listen to a few other translations. The NIV says you no longer try to understand. The New Living Translation says you are spiritually dull and don't seem to listen. The Berean Literal Translation says you are sluggish in your hearings. The Amplified says you are disinclined to listen, right? You don't even want to hear what I have to say. The Christian Standard Bible, the Holman Christian Standard Bible, and the International Standard Version all say you have become too lazy to understand. That one really hurts, right? And since it's kind of obscure translations, that's the one we want to go, that's not what that means. The problem is the Greek word that we translate dull is nothros. It's only used twice in the New Testament, and both times are in this conversation. It's used in chapter 5, verse 11, which begins, and Hebrews 6:12, which ends the conversation. And its literal meaning is sluggish or lazy. I didn't want it to mean that. I wanted it to be that I'm having trouble hearing, not that I'm too lazy to listen. See, the author's not saying this is too much for you. He's saying you stopped trying. But nobody wants to hear that. Right? When I know that's true in somebody's life, I try to find a way to say it without ever saying it, right? If the problem is you've stopped listening to God, I'm trying to find ways to ask questions that will actually confront you without having to confront you. Because if I say you're too lazy to listen, you're just going to shut your heart down and stop even trying. But what if that's the truth? What if the truth simply is you have become too lazy to understand?